Hi, everyone, and welcome to TWF Rampage, or Running, or Overtake. I am Joey Styles, here with Trini Kwan and with Aiden English. And today on Rampage, or Running, or Overtake, we're gonna see uh, Kevin Owens and Belasca have here today on Rampage of Running. But I'll tell you one thing, Trini Kwan says, Joey Styles, we do know that Kevin Owens and Belasca have not gotten along. In the past, they had a bond, some kind of kinship back in 27 between YL when Kevin Owens first came to the TWF, and Belasca was offshooting from him as far as way back as 24 between YL or 25th between YL. You're right about that one, Aiden English says. But Kevin Owens these days is trying to offshoot himself away from being the liar that he once was, hoping that everyone overlooked what he did to Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho, and Seth Rollins and stuff like that. Well, don't really did to Belasca, Joey Styles said, because Belasca was the first one that he shifted on in the TWF. But he did the same thing to Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho, and the same thing to Seth Rollins. I'll tell you what, Kevin Owens says, I've been in the TWS since 27 between YL. And one woman that I hate more than anyone else, besides my on and off fighting with Sami Zayn, what I did with Chris Jericho, and my team and my bond with Seth Rollins went anywhere, it was Belasca. So Belasca, you like to offshoot from me, right? That's what you were doing when I came to WWE, and I was on NXT before I went to Raw, before I went to SmackDown, before I went to Raw, before I went to SmackDown, I went to Raw, and whatever. You were offshooting from me, doing all my things, hitting folks in the back of the ring, doing a sit down, strength slam, and all that other stuff that I was doing. You know, at the end of the day, Belasca, you didn't do as much as I did. Yeah, you may have been a one-time TWF heavyweight fighter. You may have been a many-time TWF hard middle fighter, a TWF team fighter with me. But at the but but at the end of the day, you didn't do as much as I did. Former WWE NXT heavyweight fighter, former world heavyweight fighter, former three-time WWE Interlando fighter, two-time WWE Wanted Rights fighter. Hell, I've done a lot more than what you did. And I'm sick of you, Belasca, offshooting from me. Oh, offshooting from you. Let me tell you something, Kevin Owens. You're not the first one to ever slam a wrestler back first into the outside of a ring. You weren't the first wrestler or fighter to ever do a sit-up, or was it sit-up, strength slam to a wrestler. And you talking about offshooting from folks, wasn't it you who took the stunner from Steve Austin, who borrowed it from Mikey Riffraff, who I guess kind of borrowed it from the Disco Inferno? I don't know. Yeah, well, if you're gonna go there, well, a lot of wrestlers borrowed holds from other wrestlers. Buddy Rogers did the leg lock first. Well, Ric Flair took it from him. Jeff Jarrett took, and then Ric Flair took it from Buddy Rogers, and then Greg Valentine took it from him, and then Bobby Mandel took it from him, and Jeff Jarrett took it from him, and The Miz took it from him, and yeah. So you're gonna talk about me offshooting from you like you're the first one that ever did any of that, like you're the first one that ever did any of those kind of holds, right? At least I got myself at WrestleMania this year. At least I had. My last match was Steve Austin. What did you do? Whatever I did, let me tell you something, Kevin Owens. You like to talk about the shit you did to Sami Zayn, what you did to Chris Jericho, what you almost did to Seth, what you did to Big E Langston, what you almost did to Seth Rollins, but where were you at when we had a Wonder Woman doll and I broke her by mishap? Okay, yeah, let's fight now. We're already blown a lot of time. Let's fight. And we don't need Astronomer or Corona out here to make this fight. Ding ding ding. Well, I tell you one thing. Kevin Owens got Belasca with a sit-up strength slam, if that's what we're calling it. We were scathed in the past for calling it wrong. And now Kevin Owens just thunder gun bombed her. Joey Styles said, I mean, who comes up with the names of these holds? I don't know, Trini Kwan says. I don't know. And now, right now, Belasca's being thrown outside right now, Joey Styles said. The goddess of madness is in a bind right now. That's right, Trini Kwan said. Kevin Owens calls Belasca the offshoot, calls Belasca the stead holder, calls her all kinds of things. This hang up between the two, the two of them have gone back for years, Trini Kwan said. Yeah, going back to at least 27 between YL, or 28 between YL. When it started. He's throwing her back in the ring now. Well, what Kevin Owens don't forgets that either he came from Walmart and the other one came from Amazon. Yeah, and Belasca came from Ames, Trini Kwan says, so what? Aiden English says, and now we're going to see the man who does a stunner greater Mikey Riffraff, greater Disco Inferno, greater than Steve Austin. That's Kevin Owens. Oh! And Kevin Owens wants to talk about offshooting when he took that from Steve Austin. Joey Styles said 1, 2, and now Belasca just got up now. Belasca getting back up now. And now Belasca's going to do the same thing to him, the sit up strength slam. After the fight board gets his footing. And now Belasca just did the thunder gun ball to him. And now she's going to get ready to do the stunner now on Kevin Owens. Well, Joey Styles said, here it comes. Well, Trini Kwan says, the offshoot just beat the first, Trini Kwan says. That's so shameful to say that, Aiden English says. 1, 2, 3. Ding ding ding. Here is your winner, Belasca. And Belasca has beat Kevin Owens here today on Rampage or Running. And everyone knows, and everyone knows now. And oh wow, I was to say Joey Styles said, and now we know Belasca has beat Kevin Owens. Yeah, the offshoot has beat the first here today on Rampage or Running. Yeah, it was a good match here today on Rampage or Running, Trini Kwan says. And I guess Kevin Owens can now shut up because now he got beat by Belasca. Well, I could tell you one thing, Aiden English says. I know Kevin Owens, he isn't going to shut up. He's going to be bitching. Bitching how he lost to Belasca, who stole everything from him. Offshoot herself to be like him. But never be as good as him. And now we have Jonathan Coachman now is going to talk with Kevin Owens. Alright, no. Jonathan Coachman is now going to talk with Belasca. Alright, Belasca, we just seen you beat Kevin Owens here today on Rampage or Running. Does that mean your buying with him is done? Well, Jonathan Coachman, I don't know if my bind with Kevin Owens is done or not. You know, Kevin Owens is this wrestler who's been in WWE since 2050, since 24 between YL. I mean, yeah, he done a lot of stuff in many small wrestling businesses before he got to WWE. But I was in a TWF long before Kevin Owens even gotten into the wrestling business. I mean, I came to the TWF in between 99 YL from Ames. Kevin Steen or Kevin Owens didn't get into the wrestling biz until 20-0, so I already had him beat. And I was in the TWF long before he got there. So anyway, he wants to say I'm the knockoff. He wants to say I'm the offshoot. Well, Kevin Owens, who are you knocking off? Who are you the offshoot of? I just beat you. The goddess of madness just beats you with your own holds, with their own thunder gun ball, with the sit up mic slam, and also with the stunner, which you took from Steve Austin, which Steve Austin took from Mikey Riffraff, which I guess Mikey Riffraff took from Disco Inferno. I don't know. All I know is I beat you, and you're not going to get no on-look from me. Well, that was my talk with Belasca. Back to you, Joey Styles. Well, thank you, Jonathan Coachman, for talking with Belasca here on Rampage, or Run-In, or Overtake. That's all the time we got here for Rampage, or Run-In, or Overtake. I am Joey Styles for Trini Kwan and Aiden English. We hope you like Rampage, or Run-In, and we'll see you tomorrow for Power or Might.